The younger population has been growing in our city. How do we help foster a sense of community and encourage the next generation to become more invested in our city?
Yeah, I agree with that. With me running and not being um, fairly young compared to the gentlemen that are running, I find for the younger generation, there just seems like the way the system is set up now, there are certain things that have to be set in place that a typical younger person do not have those things set in place, meaning that a lot of times a younger person is just starting off in marriage or a relationship or a new home or new responsibilities. Their time is not as flexible, or they're taxed in so many other ways. And with the newness of their life blossoming, whereas I find that the structure of um, running for office or being engaged, it's set up for someone to have a mature type of flexibility, job security, relationship security, meaning that you um, could not easily move into an environment and just automatically serve without some years of experience or some years of relationship or some years on your job to help foster that. What I would like to do again with me running, I feel like I am helping foster some of those ways for younger people to be involved, meaning I'm implementing social media. I'm implementing contacting with through newsletters, and I'm trying to reach out to the younger generation who might not have that time to be able to go to a meeting right now because they are fostering a new job, out on the traffic to get back from where they live to where they work. They might have young children. So, what I am wanting to do is to create a space that is that understands what it is to be young and trying to still want to be socially responsible in the places that they live in. And I believe that when you do elect me, because I understand um, those obstacles, that I am more willing and more able to foster in activities and programs that would help our young people be involved. Look, my campaign has nothing but millennials, Gen X's. I am helping them be involved and be engaged in their civil duties and find excitement with the talents that they bring, and showing them how they can use their talents with the time that they have and how important it is for them to be able to use it for their civic duties. So I think I'm already ready and geared for our younger generation, and helping foster them in to be able to serve within the community. I'm excited.
It's there. It's there. So very unique situation in Ackworth. Unique's not the right word because that's one of a kind. Um, but I've met, since I have been out knocking on doors and did Taste of Ackworth, I've met so many young people. Quite frankly, I kind of scratch my head on how they affording to live here, but they're doing it, and I'm seeing that. And I'm seeing young folks without children, and then young folks that have young families. And I think that, how do we get them involved? We just got to keep talking them involved. Here's one of the great things about Ackworth. You talk around for very long, not very long at all actually, and you'll find there are multi-generational families living in this city. My dad lives in my neighborhood, okay, and others in my neighborhood. I've got a family in my neighborhood where their parents lived there before they passed away. They lived there. Their brother lives there, and two of their sons live there. And this is in my neighborhood, in one neighborhood. So here's when I said unique, here's a pretty interesting thing. I get asked the question all the time, what is it with all this senior housing? Everything's going senior housing now. What about the young people? I want you to think about this for just a second. When you have senior housing, You have the citizens of Ackworth who have aged out of their home and they're moving to that senior housing. What does that do? That leaves a home available for a younger couple to come in, or a young family to come in and move into Ackworth. Now, ideally, you have that happen a lot, but here's something that's a phenomenal that's taking place. That senior moves to senior housing. They're not selling that home. Their kid, their 35-year-old kid and wife and family are moving in. They lived in someplace in Alabama working. Now they can move, and they're taking over the house, right? So that's how you get multi-generational inside the city. So it's incredible, and I'm not saying it's unique to Ackworth, but I tell you what, it's not happening in communities all over. You're looking for quality of life. You're looking for for proof that people love this community. There it is. When the kids are moving into the parents' house, that's how you get one of the ways you get the younger people in. Engagement. Young people today have no problem engaging. It may not be the old-fashioned way where, hey, I'll meet you down at the five and dime, but through social media and getting together. And then you got places like the Fountain, which is a bar and restaurant. Tons of young people, music that I probably don't care that much about. It's because it's not country and western, but hey, it's drawing the crowds. Commented, seeing walking down the street, the diversity of all kinds that gather now in downtown Ackworth, and then amazingly at places like you just call it Henry, Center Street, Fusco's, all the restaurants. How many young people there are? And at my age, I guess everybody looks young to me, or most of the people do. So maybe that's not fair, but I think that problem is easily solving itself. But keep thinking about that multi-generational thing. That's something very special we have here.
So how do we foster more involvement in the younger generation? So it seems like that's becoming more and more difficult as we see people becoming more and more reliant on social media than to be part of sometimes bigger groups and bigger organizations. And I don't know how to necessarily change that personally, but I think that's where whenever we're working together as a city to try and reach different people and different platforms, that we can foster that and figure that out. Younger people, I think, do have a hunger for wanting to be involved. They want to feel like they belong to something. And so, just trying to reach them in different events, different structures. The Halloween Jamboree was going on this past week. There were young people up and down through Main Street and an entire park full. And so maybe we include more community opportunities as far as trying to do booths or something associated with what volunteer capabilities are available, whenever we're having those events. The hard part, and I'm guilty of it as well, sometimes I may not want to stop by the city booth. I may want to just go play with my kids and go do whatever they're doing. And maybe it's not that I don't want to stop with my kids, but the kids are dragging me to their next spot that they have to go play, or they have to buy this
Story in my life.
So maybe that's the answer. And how do we address those? I think it's just a work in progress. And that's what the things that worked with me 20 years ago are not going to work now. So we just need to keep going in our strive to get more and more people involved.
Well, that's pretty simple. Well, we have been talking about committees. So I would suggest that we have a committee of 40 and under. Get them involved in the city, because first of all, they're living here for a reason. They're not in Buckhead, they're here. So something is bringing them here. So what is drawing that age group to our city? And if they could make decisions, what would they like to see? And of course, I'll be willing to sit on that committee and to listen to them, because at the end of the day, the whole reason I'm running for office is I want the input from the residents of Ackworth. Not what Robert wants, not what the mayor wants, not what any other council member wants. It is what does our citizens, what they want to see. They're the future of our community. So what are we going to do to keep this place going after we're gone? And we need their input to do that.